Donald Trump apparently took us right to the brink of war with Iran last night before deciding at the last second, maybe not today. Maybe not today either, but the day is not done. So this is what the reporting was this morning. President Trump approved military strikes against Iran in retaliation for downing an American surveillance drone, but pulled back from launching them on Thursday night after a day of escalating tensions. Planes were in the air and ships were in position, but no missiles had been fired when word came to stand down. Donald Trump added something like context in a tweet storm saying, on Monday, they shot down an unmanned drone flying in international waters. We were cocked and loaded to retaliate last night on 3 different sites, spelled incorrectly, when I asked how many will die. 150 people, sir, was the answer from a general. This is the president of the United States. 10 minutes before the strike, I stopped it, not proportionate to shooting down an unmanned drone. I am in no hurry. Our capital M military is rebuilt, new and ready to go, by far the best in the world. Sanctions are biting and more added last night. Iran can never have nuclear capitalized weapons capitalized, not against the USA, not against the world. It's a consistent position he has, which is why he took us out of a treaty that was stopping them from developing nuclear weapons.
Yes, so I have a number of bones to pick, as everybody does, as usual. I don't think you should probably be talking about foreign policy in this level of detail in a tweet, let alone the mistakes, etc. I obviously agree 1000% with John that shouldn't have gotten us out of the treaty in the first place, and we wouldn't have this problem. Having said all that, I'm pretty ecstatic about this. I think this is probably the best decision Donald Trump has made in his presidency. And I don't really care too much about the veracity of the timeline of whether it was in 10 minutes to go or not, and when they told him. We'll just get into all those details anyway in a second. But I also like his reasoning, whether it's true or untrue. Hey, 150 people dying because they hit a drone is disproportionate. The fact that we remember whatever Trump says becomes Republican orthodoxy immediately. So I guess now the Republican Party, at least the voters and the base, thinks, oh yeah, you shouldn't use disproportionate force on another country. Great, wonderful, I'll take it.
I totally agree. It's good that we're not having a war tonight. I think that's a good thing, and however Trump got to that. But the concern that I have is with everything that he does is that you cannot actually rely on it. So my concern is that he'll just wake up in the middle of the night and be like, oh wait a minute, it's 150. Well, what does that look like to me from a re-election perspective? I mean, I don't know, but I think it is good. We should not have gotten out of the treaty to begin with. He is consistent in being inconsistent and erratic, but that remains my concern about him.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. I don't understand. Literally the only reason he could make the choice to not strike Iran was because hours earlier he'd made the choice to strike Iran.
Right.
The only reason there were tensions in the air is because he and John Bolton and others in his administration are fomenting them. The only reason the drone was either directly over Iran or close to it was because they put it there so that they could justify some sort of conflict. The only reason that any of this is here is because he pulled out of the deal. They said they pulled out of the treaty because the treaty wouldn't stop them from getting nuclear weapons. I don't believe that at all. They pulled out of the treaty because the treaty was stopping them from working to develop nuclear weapons, which provided no justification to invade them. Get rid of the treaty, maybe they start to develop it, and that gives you an opening to attack them. All of this is their creation, and him deciding at the last second not to do it is an invented, manufactured, as it says down here, situation that he put together. I don't want us to go to war, but I'm gonna give him basically no credit for not doing what he decided to do earlier.
Yeah, so John, you're both completely right and totally wrong at the same time. So on the facts, you're right. So for example, the Special Olympics, he did the same exact trick. You know what, I'm gonna take away all the money from Special Olympics. Yeah, you know what, that didn't play well. I'm putting it back, I'm putting it back. I'm the greatest person to ever deal with Special Olympics because I put the money back in, which I had earlier stolen, right? So
that's sort of what I'm saying. Yes.
No, yeah, exactly. Right. So I get it, and I'm agreeing with you on that front. And we can get into an argument about whether he deserves credit for pulling the strikes back in history, right, at a later date. But today, the part that I don't agree with you on is I hear you, but nonetheless, the Republican Party is at best 50-50. No, it's probably 85% yes, go to war with Iran, only 15% no.
You're saying the elected officials.
The elected officials, not the voters. No, the voters don't want to go to war either, right? And again, I'm not a guy who's soft on the Republican base. Everybody on TV is like, oh, you can't insult Republican voters. No, I insult them all the time. Okay, but on this, they're generally correct. They don't, and they're also correct on getting money out of politics. They don't like the war. They don't like the corruption. They're correct on those things. So, but Republican officials, they're desperate to go to war. So when you have the president being an outlier in his own party, and the 15% that are saying no, I don't give a damn if he turned it around a second before they launched the missiles, right? And I know he's a child. He went on to brag. He's like, oh, it was me who made the decision. It was a command decision. Of course, you're
Commander-in-Chief.
You're the president and commander-in-chief. Who else do you think is going to make the decisions?
Yeah,
okay.
But do you trust that that's going to be what he continues to, that's his path, or that something else is going to piss him off and he's going to retract what he retracted that he shouldn't have done to begin with?
Okay, so all great questions. Am I worried that he's going to flip-flop? Of course, he changes his mind every second, depending on whether it's Tucker Carlson or Sean Hannity talking to him. Literally in this case, Hannity wants to go to war. Tucker Carlson doesn't want to go to war. That's why he's like, let's bomb Iran. Forget it, don't bomb Iran, because I got a call from Tucker after I got a call from Hannity, right?
Yeah.
And so, but guys, look at the precarious position we're in. If we hit Iran, they will definitely hit us back. And when they hit us back, then of course everybody will then say, we got to show resolve, we got to show stomach for the fight, and I can't believe it, etc. And there's a very important wrinkle here that I want to get to in a second. So when all that happens, we're going to go to war. And when we go to war, we're going to lose a ton of soldiers. So we're going to lose a lot of American lives. We're going to have tens of thousands of casualties eventually, the wounded, etc. Well, God knows how many hundreds of thousands of Iranians we're going to kill, innocent civilians. And the costs are going to be in the trillions of dollars. And then they're going to say, we can't pay for your kids' college. We can't pay for your kids' cancer because I spent all the money on John Bolton's war in Iran. So in a situation that precarious, under any circumstance that Trump, the flighty, mercurial Trump, man-child, makes the correct decision, we should all be going, yes, yes. Keep going in that direction. Way to be a bold leader, way to be commander-in-chief. So later we can debate whether he gets a certain percentage of credit or not once he's out of office. But we're this close to war.
I get what you're saying. I'm going to work my butt off so that someday I don't have to live in a country where we have to talk to our president as if we're training a puppy, effectively. And thankfully we didn't go to war with North Korea. We didn't overthrow the leadership of Venezuela. Only because in those situations he either developed a bizarre friendship with a dictator, and as of reporting yesterday with Venezuela, he got bored and he moved on. And now, maybe no Iran, maybe Iran. I don't want to be put in that position. The only way we got even close to those three conflicts is because Donald Trump won in 2016 and decided to surround himself with warmongers like John Bolton, like we were predicting that he would. Yeah. And so I get what you're saying about pragmatically or strategically trying to influence him, but I can also see what he's doing. And really fast, in terms of the credit, some people online are giving him credit, literal credit for saving lives. Now, granted, these are some pretty dim people. These are conspiracy theorists, but they're very influential on the right. So Bill Mitchell tweeted, President Trump was ready to strike 3 Iranian targets last night. He was informed this would cost 150 Iranian lives and called off the attack because one drone was not worth 150 lives. That's leadership.
I'm telling you, John, I want to encourage that, man.
I guess, but how stupid is that? That he apparently authorized a strike on a country and didn't think to ask how many people would die until hours had passed.
Right, beforehand.
You authorized it without knowing what would happen? Right. That does not reassure me. That scares the hell out of me.
No, John, if you're gonna break down the details, of course you're gonna be right, okay?
That's the whole point of the damage report and my contribution to the show. So I will break everything down until I'm right.
Okay, no, guys, think about it. It didn't occur to him to ask how many people were going to die until 10. While the New York Times reports the planes were in the air till 10 minutes, according to Trump's version of it, and the New York Times reporting of it, 10 minutes before the strike, it hadn't occurred to him how many people were going to die, how many civilians were going to die, or non-civilians were going to die. And he's like, wait a minute, what happens when a bomb lands? Right? People die. Yeah, that's what happens when a bomb lands. But again, I'll take it.
But again, he also completely ignored the rest of the world, and this is sort of a part of the whole sort of psychosis of just how he acts. But everyone in Europe was like backing away from any possibility of like having a conversation about it. They were effectively letting him know that this would be a really dumb thing to do. That did not stir him. The fact that the entire rest of the world, who actually did not, who actually supported staying in the Iranian agreement, decided to basically signal they're not going to be in this war if this war happens. That did not change his mind. That was insignificant in this whole chain of, I don't want to say thought, but like whatever the electrons
actions
that
and
happened.
inactions, right? So let me give a little bit more detail than that, and then give you the really important other point here. So right now, as it stands, none of the European nations are supporting dropping a bomb on Iran, attacking Iran, any of that stuff. So the only allies we would have if we went to war are United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and Israel. That's it. It's those four, including half the Trump administration, versus all of the rest of the world saying, no, that doesn't make any sense. Don't do that, okay? So, and now the very, very important wrinkle. It turns out the Iranians shot down a drone, but according to reporting, there was a second plane that entered their waters that they did not shoot down. And that was a plane with 35 Americans on it, a military plane. If they had shot it down, we'd already be in the middle of a war. So that if the reporting is correct, the Iranians showed excellent restraint. So thank God they did. They're not showing restraint now. They're still, after Trump pulled back the missiles, they're yelling at him and said, oh yeah, we're gonna get you. I'm like, shush, shush. You almost all got killed, you idiots, and got your civilians killed for no reason. Shut up already. But good restraint on not shooting down the ship that had people in it. But most importantly, that means somebody in the Trump administration, probably without asking Trump because he's not in favor of it. I don't know if it was Bolton or Pompeo or someone at the Pentagon or a combination of all of those people, said, let's go risk those American service members' lives and hope that they get shot down and murdered so that we can go to war. That is a sick calculation. They should figure out who the hell gave the order to have 35 of those guys die in order to start this war. Thank God the Iranians didn't shoot. But if they had, they were willing to sacrifice those guys' lives. If you were on that plane, you should be furious that they used you for fodder like that.
Yeah, if someone could tweet Ken Klippenstein to FOIA them, let's find out who authorized that. And the last point I want to make on it is, overall, my goal is no war with Iran, no war with Venezuela, no war with North Korea, no war at all. And the way to get that is not to just hope that we're gonna get through another day without Donald Trump launching one, it's to get him out of office. And so there's no necessary reason to tie this into the frustrations that we have with Democratic leadership, but Nancy Pelosi's strategy of, maybe he committed impeachable offenses, but we're gonna wait a year and a half and leave it up to the voters. That is not a strategy without a cost. That is a strategy whose cost is every single day hoping that one of the most tempestuous, petulant people in our country decides not to follow their whims into a war with Iran or God knows what other country. That is the situation that we have to deal with every day because she and others around her have made the decision that we're gonna take our constitutional responsibility and we're gonna throw it to the people in a year and a half, and he can do whatever he wants until then.
And just a fun note to end on here. John mentioned our senior investigative reporter, Ken Klippenstein. The FBI apparently has him on a list of the people who ask for most freedom of information requests. And so that's how you do real journalism. You get documents that you have the rights to get to. And they have him on a top 10 vex him list. They're vexed, very, very vexed by Ken Klippenstein. That is a list that I love that we are on, that Ken got TYT on in some sense. So, and by the way, you guys funded our investigative reporters, so way to go. You have vexed the FBI. Thanks for watching this free clip of the Young Turks. Don't forget to become a TYT member today. For more exclusive content, join now at tyt.com/join.